Hello everyone, so welcome back to the physics class. Today we are going to read a very important topic for JEE as well as NEET, that is motion of a satellite. Yes, this topic comes under the chapter gravitation. So what we are exactly going to read, I'll just give you a brief overview of that. We are going to read this topic on the basis of 5 separate parameters, that is orbital velocity, time period, potential energy, kinetic energy and total energy. Later on in the lecture, we will try to relate potential energy, kinetic energy and total energy, and you are going to find an interesting result out of it. So let's begin. So first topic is our orbital velocity. So as you can see in the diagram, this thing is my planet. This is my planet whose mass has been represented by m subscript p, that stands for mass of a planet. Okay, now talking about this circle, it is the orbit. Fine. Now this is my satellite whose mass has been represented by m subscript s. Okay, so we have two entities over here. One is planet, which is this one, another is satellite, which is this one, and this is the orbit in which the satellite is revolving around the planet. Okay, now so this distance, the distance from the center of the planet to the orbit, will be called my orbital radius. What we are going to call it? Yes, we are going to call it orbital radius. So let me write it over here. Orbital radius. Cool. Let's move ahead. Now, the planet is revolving in this particular orbit, and of course, it's a circular orbit, right? So what we can do here, we know that at any point in the path of the motion of a particle, if we want to find the direction of instantaneous velocity, we take the tangential direction, isn't it? In any curve, if we want the velocity, let us say a particle is following this curve, and if we want to show the direction of velocity at this point, we will draw a tangent here. Similarly, if we want to show the direction of velocity at this point, we will draw a tangent here, right? That is why I have represented the instantaneous velocity of the particle by drawing the tangent at this particular point, and I am representing that velocity with v subscript o. Let us write it o. So this stands for my orbital velocity. Now from this diagram itself, the definition is clear that orbital velocity is the minimum velocity required by a satellite to revolve in a particular orbit around a planet. Okay, now let's do the analysis. Okay, you know that whenever a particle moves in a circle, a centripetal force always acts towards the center of that circle. So can I say that a centripetal force is going to act on this satellite towards the center, and the center of the circle would be this one, right? So what I can do here, I can draw a proper free body diagram of the satellite and examine what sort of forces are acting exactly on that. So if we do that, then a force will act towards the center of the circle, and that force is actually gravitational force of attraction between the planet and the satellite, and that can be written by Newton's law of gravitation. That force is exactly equal to g m1 m2 upon r square. M1 m2 is actually mass of satellite and mass of planet respectively, divided by r square, and r is here the orbital radius. Always remember it, it is measured from the center of the planet, not from the surface of the planet. Fine enough. Now this is the force that is acting. So I'll write it gravitational force, which is equal to G capital MS MP upon R square. Now this force is acting towards the center. That means that this is the only force that is providing the centripetal force. Means this force is going to act like a centripetal force. So can I equate it to the formula of centripetal force? Yes, exactly. Centripetal force is mass into acceleration. So mass of the satellite is ms, and the value of centripetal acceleration is v square upon r, right? So velocity I have denoted by v naught, so v naught square upon r. Now we can easily solve this expression. So from here you can clearly see that ms will get cancelled, and we will get the value of v naught equal to square root of g mp upon r. Now this one is a very, very important formula, students. This is the expression of orbital velocity of a satellite revolving in an orbit of orbital radius small r around a planet of mass mp. Now a very interesting fact over here. The fact is that if you observe it carefully, you will find that the orbital velocity is independent of mass of the satellite. Yes, it's a very important fact. It has been earlier asked in AIMS as assessment reason question. So V naught is independent of mass of the satellite. Now this point should always be remembered. So this is all about orbital velocity. Let's move to the next parameter, that is time period. Now this one is damn easy to calculate. You know that time period, how do we calculate time period, right? It is the time taken for the process to repeat itself, correct? So time period can be written as the total distance traveled by the satellite in one complete revolution. That is the perimeter of the orbit, which is equal to 2 pi r divided by the speed of the satellite, correct? This is how we calculate time. So that is actually V naught. So from here, what we can do, we can substitute the value of V naught from the earlier slide, that was under root GMP upon small r. So when we do that, so it would look like this, GMP upon small r. Now we can further evaluate it, further isko resolve kar sakte hain. How would it look like? Just see it. Under root GMP and square root of r can be written as r power 1 by 2. Now another very important topic, students. Please see here. Can you see here r power is 1 and r power is 1 by 2. So since the base is same, the powers will get added. And can I say that time period is directly proportional to r power 3 by 2, ignoring all the constants? Can you clearly see that 2 pi is a constant? Under root GMP is a constant. So I have removed the constants and simply written the proportionality relationship. So I can further write it like this. By squaring both the sides, t square is directly proportional to r cube. A similar expression you are going to find in the Kepler's law of planetary motion, law of time periods. Okay, when we read that topic, I'll come back to this one. So you should remember this. A lot of questions has been asked earlier on this particular relationship. Time period square is directly proportional to the cube of orbital radius. Now that's all about the time period. Let's move to the next parameter. And these three parameters are very important for us. This one is potential energy. Now coming to the gravitational potential energy, I'll just give you a little bit idea of the concept involved here. Let us say we have one mass m1 and another mass m2, and the separation between them is a small r. So in that case, you should remember 2 points about the potential energy. First one is that potential energy is always defined for a conservative force field. It will never be defined for a non-conservative force. Second point is that potential energy is always defined for a system. It means to form a system, you need at least two masses, right? And if it would have been electrostatics, you would need at least two charges. That potential energy would have been called electrostatic potential energy. This one will be called gravitational potential energy. And when you have 2-point charges or 2-point masses, then the potential energy expression is minus G m1 m2 divided by r. Okay. Now, why do we use this minus sign? Minus sign signifies here that the forces involved that is always attractive in nature. Whenever we have attractive nature, bounded system, we use a negative sign. That is why I have used a minus sign over here. As you know, masses can never be negative, right? So in order to keep the potential energy term negative so that it signifies the force is attractive in nature, we have to include a minus sign. So now applying this formula in this scenario, so the potential energy of this satellite planet system, always remember potential energy is defined for a system. So the potential energy which I am going to calculate here will be defined for the satellite planet system. So it can be written as minus G ms mp divided by r. Done. Now let's highlight this thing. It's again very important expression. So from here, another very important conclusion I will take out. You can clearly see as r tends to infinity in the expression, as r tends to infinity, the potential energy becomes zero, isn't it? So it's quite logical also. Let us say that you have two masses, one is here and one is, let us say, in some other universe. Do you think that there will be any sort of attraction between them? Any sort of interaction between them? Nothing, right? So obviously when the masses will be separated by an infinite distance, the potential energy will almost be zero, isn't it? I'm saying almost zero, not exactly zero. Because r is not exactly equal to infinite. We can tend the distance to infinity, but not exactly right r equal to infinity. Done. So this is one of the expression. Now this gives us a very important conclusion that as as the orbital radius increases, what actually happens? The potential energy of the system increases or decreases. Now many students get confused over here. What I am saying is that a lot of times this question has been asked in many exams, including JEE, NEET, AIMS and all. As we increase R, what happens to the potential energy? Many students will say that, sir, it decreases. No, actually it increases. How does it happen? Because you can see that at any finite distance, the potential energy is always a negative quantity. The maximum value of potential energy that can be achieved is zero. You cannot go to any positive quantity. And you know 0 is greater than -10, correct? Any any negative number will always be smaller than 0. That means as you increase R, potential energy will go towards 0, and 0 is greater than the negative number, right? That means that upon increasing the orbital radius, the potential energy of the system increases in spite of decreasing. That all happens due to this minus sign. So please remember this thing. Now, okay, one more thing we can analyze here also. In the orbital velocity also we can say that if we increase the orbital radius, you can clearly see the relationship which is mentioned over here. V naught is inversely proportional to square root of r. So in this case, the orbital velocity is going to decrease, correct? So larger is the radius, larger is the orbital radius, smaller is the orbital velocity. Now coming to the next topic, coming to the next parameter is our kinetic energy. So kinetic energy calculation is very easy, students. It simply can be written as half mv square, correct? I am denoting the kinetic energy with K symbol. So it can be written as half mv square. So substituting the values, m stands for mass of the satellite over here because we are calculating the kinetic energy of the satellite. And velocity stands for orbital velocity over here. Now again what we can do over here, we can substitute the value of V naught. So V naught you can clearly see I have calculated it already, which is here. So when you square this thing, the square root function on the right hand side will vanish and you will be left with G mp upon R. So let's substitute that thing, G mp upon R. Now the expression for kinetic energy can be written as G ms mp upon 2R. As you can see, kinetic energy is a positive quantity. Logically as well, kinetic energy can never be negative, correct? So I'll keep it in a box since it's again a very important expression. I won't suggest you to remember these expressions. It will hardly take 5 to 7 seconds to calculate it, right? The way I am calculating. Okay, done with the kinetic energy. Now coming to the total energy. Now, total energy is very easy to calculate. We are considering the total mechanical energy of the system. So, total energy can easily be calculated. Let us represent it by capital E. So, we can write the total energy as the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So, let's add them up. Kinetic energy is G ms mp upon 2R, and potential energy is how much, students? Potential energy is minus G ms mp upon R. So minus G ms mp upon R. So when you evaluate this thing, so you can see 1 by 2 is in this function we have 1 upon 2. In this function we have minus 1. So when you add them, you will be getting minus 1 by 2 G ms mp upon r. Let's erase minus 1 minus, that's it. This is my expression of total energy. Fine. So as simple as that. We have calculated all the three types of energy: kinetic energy, total energy, and potential energy, which is very, very important for us. So talking about kinetic energy, once again, students, if we increase the R, if we increase the orbital radius, what will happen to kinetic energy? What is going to happen to the kinetic energy? Obviously, it is going to decrease, right? Kinetic energy is going to decrease. Now coming to the total energy, again the total energy is a negative function. Now negative function is a very, very important thing. I'll reiterate it here. Negative sign shows that the system is bounded together. The planet and the satellite systems are bounded together by some sort of interaction. This is what negative sign signifies. So bounded system. So whenever in physics you find the total energy to be negative, you should always realize that it is a bounded system. I'll give you one more example where you will find exactly same sort of equations. The total energy is going to be negative. When you calculate the total energy, total electrostatic energy associated with an electron revolving around a nucleus. Now again, an electron being a negatively charged particle is attracted towards the nucleus, right? Isn't it a very similar case to a planet? If you consider planet as a nucleus and a satellite as an electron, isn't the cases same? Yes, exactly. That is why you get similar expressions over there in atomic structure, Niels Bohr model, right? So that is the crux of the topic. So you should know, upon increasing and decreasing the orbital radius, which parameters are affected in what way. A lot of questions are asked from this thing. Okay. Now we have one more small topic. If you see it, if you observe it carefully, you might find a relationship between total energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy, students. So you can clearly see over here, kinetic energy magnitude and total energy magnitude are exactly same. The only difference is a minus sign is involved in total energy. So can I take a topic relationship between potential energy, kinetic energy, and total energy? And can I write that the magnitude of kinetic energy is equal to the magnitude of total energy? Correct? And when you compare the potential energy, which is over here, so you can see there is no 2 here. This 2 is not over here, and this 2 is present in this expression as well as this expression. So can I say that how is it related to the magnitude of potential energy? Can you say? Yes, this is it. This is the expression, right? So this is a very, very important relation, students. Some questions can be solved within a fraction of seconds if you remember this particular relationship. Otherwise, you can always go through the conventional approach and get to your answers. Fine enough. Now, the last thing left. Let us discuss what will happen to the time period if you increase the orbital radius. As you can clearly see from the expression itself, if you increase the orbital radius, the time period is also going to increase. You know, actually, to answer this thing, you didn't even needed the equations. Just think of this situation. As you increase the orbital radius, the orbital velocity decreases. If orbital velocity will decrease, the satellite will take more and more time to travel along the orbit, and hence the more time period. So this is all about this topic, motion of a satellite. So we discussed 5 important parameters over here: orbital velocity, time period, potential energy, kinetic energy, and total energy. And we also discussed how these quantities, how these parameters are going to vary if we increase or decrease the orbital radius. So that's it for today, guys. I hope the lecture was helpful for you. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel if you haven't done it as of now. Thank you so much. See you again. Bye bye. Take care.